Hey guys, how's it going? We're doing a podcast. So this is Mike Glover with Fieldcraft Survival, who does an actual podcast. I don't do a podcast, but we're doing a Fieldcraft podcast. But I was like, hey, how about I just set up a tripod and we'll film it and then we'll put it up on YouTube, so that way people that don't listen to podcasts can check it out. If you don't listen to Fieldcraft Survival podcasts, maybe you'll watch this video and be like, man, that Mike guy has a really nice voice. So I'll start listening. So this is really just going to be a podcast, but you're going to kind of watch it as it goes. You can listen to this podcast on Fieldcraft Survival. Just find your favorite podcast app and search Fieldcraft Survival. Right?
Yeah, everything, Spotify, Luminary, iTunes, them all. We're on all of them. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. It's cool because we're in beautiful Colorado with a backdrop.
Yeah, we just got done shooting some guns with a video that, I don't know, it might be on my channel already or it might be coming up, but a video about kind of long gun precision rifle with Mike, former Green Beret sniper. Cool. So we're going to get into this podcast. I don't really know. We're just going to
Let's do it. Let's just kick it off.
Yeah.
You ready?
Right. Yes.
Straight into it?
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
I mean, you ready?
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Fieldcraft Survival Podcast. I'm with Mike from Last Line of Defense.
How's it going, Mike?
Good, man. I'm glad you had me out. It's rare that I get an opportunity to actually kind of do content, but just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
It's a cool opportunity.
I think we hopefully managed to balance them pretty well today.
We did. We drank some beer.
Some beer. Yeah.
We shot guns.
Yeah. We didn't mix the two.
We didn't never mix the two.
Yeah. Don't do that.
But I think it's cool that we're recording this podcast. This will be up on your YouTube channel, so you can see kind of a live interaction. I noticed myself, even my own habits, because I gauge a lot of my own content and business steps based on what I'm doing in real life. I mean, my own personal habits. And I have digested all of Netflix.
Yeah.
There's no longer any Netflix that I haven't seen.
You've watched everything worth watching.
It's all gone. So now I've actually tuned into YouTube, which has made me think maybe I should be like you and spend more time presenting content like I do on every other channel, but more for the YouTube followers as well.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys they have a YouTube right now. They just don't put much up on it.
Once a month, maybe.
Okay.
But we're going to try to get like you, and I know you told me like the standard's like once a week. You got to feed your...
It's like the bare minimum. That's what I do.
Yeah.
The bare minimum.
Just getting
That's
by.
what I do. Yeah.
But you got to feed the beast, right? It's a minimum of 1 week.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to shoot for. Twice a week won't hurt, but once a week.
What if I just off a one-off, like a bonus, I just throw in a second one? Is that bad, or do I have to strategically plan it as a habit?
Nah, there's a lot of talk, I guess. Some people like conditioning, like a TV show, like I'm going to release a new video every Tuesday at 6 p.m. I don't have... My life is too crazy to do that. Like, I could do it. I'm just making excuses for myself. But good thing to get into so people can look forward to, it's Tuesday, that new Fieldcraft video is coming out.
Is that the optimal thing? You're saying Tuesday, like 6 p.m.?
Oh, no. Tuesday, I just pulled that.
Okay,
I just pulled it out. There's probably some day out there that's best. I don't do enough research on the YouTubes, but...
Well, you're doing well on YouTube. You have a couple 100,000 subscribers. And, it just tells me that more people are tuning in because it's relevant. It makes sense. Like, you would be losing subscription followers, I imagine, if what you were saying was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'd at least be staying stagnant, and my views would be going down. And I'm not growing at an astronomical pace or anything, but I'm steadily growing. Yeah.
Yeah, for our genre, I mean, we had the conversation this morning. Like, for our genre, you can't. It's difficult, right? Because we're like the tactical, survival, outdoor, whatever that is.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people mixing it up on the social medias anyways, but I think there are a fair bit out there. The thing that I'm running into, and you may run into this too, probably not as much actually, if I don't post like gun videos for a while, I'll get all my people that only want gun videos that are like, I don't care about your truck, where's the gun videos?
Whoa.
And then I'll have the truck people, when I post a gun video, say like, I don't like guns or whatever. Oh. They're less vocal about not liking guns, I think, though.
Yeah, so if you had to put a percentage on the amount of people that follow you, let's say it's 200K, the amount of people who follow you who don't like guns, what is that? Just guesstimate.
that don't like guns, like
that
are
want more
anti-guns.
No, that want more overland, off-road, outdoor versus the gun stuff.
Oh, I would say probably 80% of people want more outdoor
Really?
adventure stuff. Yeah, I have this little
Whoa.
series called Weekenderlander, where it's I kind of take a jab at making fun of overlanding because I really just do it like on the weekends.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a series I made, just kind of an adventure series where I go out a lot of times with Ashley and just, go do a little off-roading, do a little camping, and kind of vlog-ish.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my most popular videos, and people are always asking for more of them.
Which is fun because it means you have to make more of them.
It is. It's nice because it actually encourages me to go out camping more versus like a gear review. Like I test gear and stuff, but when I'm doing a gear review video, I'm typically like sitting in a room at a table doing a gear review. But when I do the Weekenderlander videos, it's like I have to go.
So that's the most popular
adventure.
part of the series, huh? Like out of all the videos.
Currently, yeah. Those are the ones that are most regularly, like, I don't think I have a single Weekenderlander that has like less than 60,000 views or something like that.
What is the last one that you did? The last episode? Was that with Warrior Poet Society?
No, that was a couple episodes back. The last one I did was this one where Ashley made some salmon foil meals and we had to go make a campfire, and we were going to go to one place, but that county had a fire ban, so we had to find a different place and go somewhere else.
Just to make the...
Yeah, kind of, to make the fire. We didn't need to, but it was something Ashley was excited about, because usually we just make easy meals, just like hot dogs or pre-made this or whatever. And this one, she actually prepped the meal, which kind of is dependent on a campfire, so we went out and
I like that.
did that.
Did you do the recipe and everything?
No, I should have. It was a missed opportunity.
Huh.
But I said what was in it, I think. I don't remember.
What do you think it is about that popularity, what that means about society? Because my thinking is, well, wouldn't it be less popular because more people would actually be getting out? Or is it because more people want to be inspired to get out? And
I think it's that. I get messages and emails all the time. I mean, it's kind of weird because I get a broad spectrum. I get emails from, you encouraged me to get my first gun and take self-defense more seriously, which is rad because my channel reaches a broader demographic than if I was just a gun channel. If I was just a gun channel, I'm not introducing anti-gun people to guns because they're not watching gun channels, but they're watching my channel.
Yeah.
So they'll see it and they're like, oh, he's making a gun video. I guess I'll watch it. And then they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I'll get into guns. So I'm probably reaching more new to guns people or gun curious people than a standard gun channel is, obviously. Yeah. So that's like a pro in that department, which is what gun people don't understand about my channel, that it kind of opens the door to other people. That was a tangent. I don't remember what the original question was.
But is that part of the strategy? Is that like a deliberate thing, but kind of?
I don't have a mastermind strategy, but it's part of the thing, because if people come to my channel like, this guy seems pretty logical, he doesn't seem like a crazy redneck, and he carries a gun every day, maybe there's something to it that I never thought about before. So in general, I try to bring everything back to preparedness, and I believe carrying a gun on you every day is part of that. So a lot of people see that I'm uploading stuff about my truck and this and that, and they have a disconnect between what we were talking about earlier, where you build your lifestyle around preparedness, and naturally a lot of your hobbies then become around preparedness. One of those, like your bug out rig, is kind of around preparedness. So I go on a weekend camping trip, fun and everything, but also it's like, hey, I want to try and build a fire from scratch on this trip. I'll do it. And it really integrates with your hobby. So if you're practicing kind of your preparedness, it can be fun, as cheesy as that sounds. So I always try to kind of bring it back to that. So surface level, they kind of just see this guy out camping, but really it's a little more than that.
Because you're exercising. Like, it's like, I mean, honestly, it's like the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts of America, because the whole intent was to get people outdoors, but to train them in a valuable skill set that's going to be potentially life-saving.
Yeah.
Right?
Boy Scouts motto, something with be prepared or prepared something.
Always be That's 5'11" tactics.
Always be ready.
Oh, wait,
Or
that's
go
way
prepared. No, that's Warren. There's something about that.
off. Yeah. Are you so?
Oh, but Pete, the question. Sorry, the question
I don't even remember my
was.
own question.
It was, why are people watching this? Wouldn't it encourage them to be out, not watching YouTube, out actually adventuring?
Yeah.
And it has. So I was like, yeah, a lot of people email me and say like, oh, you got me into my first handgun or whatever. A lot of people email me and they're like, you really encouraged my family and me to get out for the weekend and go camping. And it was awesome. It was a blast. So I try to give tips too. Like, if you're new to this, these are kind of the things you need. This is kind of what to do. This is kind of where to go. So I think it is encouraging a lot of people to go out and do stuff. It's encouraging a lot of people to do stuff that I don't really intend to. Like, I've probably sold 5,000 Toyota Tacomas because I've got at least 100 emails that are say, I went out and bought a Tacoma because of you.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be that way. You got a minivan, go out and take some dirt roads out into the wilderness and have a good time. But all that to say, I know it's encouraging people to get outdoors, but at the same time, I think people nobody can go out as much as they want to, I think. So it's kind of one of those live vicariously through me kind of deals, I think.
So are you doing it more than most people, and then now you've taken it on as a responsibility in order to advocate? Because I'm trying to think, like, where's the personal virtue tie into the business? Where it's like, how do you find balance between what you're passionate about and what you love? Because, like, this is amazing. Being outdoors, fly fishing, shooting, whatever it may be, like, being free in America is awesome. But then when you make it about kind of capturing it, how do you do it without making it cheesy, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, it's tough too. And I don't record every trip I go on. I just don't want to bring a camera. I'll usually bring a camera and take some pictures.
Like, you don't even advertise where you live, right? I don't think I've ever seen, being at your house today, I don't think I've seen much about your home or how remote you actually live. Like, you live pretty remote.
Yeah, I live kind of out there. Nothing too crazy. I'm like 40 minutes to Denver or something, roughly like that.
It's in the mountains.
Like, it's in the mountains, yeah. I mention it from time to time. I mention, like, I live at almost 9,000 feet in Colorado, a fair bit. So people know I'm in Colorado, and they, for the most part, know I'm in the mountains, but that's about it. But yeah, as far as like the balance of like living life and enjoying life and making content and encouraging other people and trying to do my part, I don't know. I don't think about it too much. I just go. Fortunately, my girlfriend Ashley loves to camp. She would camp every single weekend. That's
amazing. I get that from her though. She's like very open, natural settings. Like, she's not materialistic.
She loves to hike and she loves to camp. I don't hike as much, and ever since I got a gimp ankle, I haven't been hiking with her, so it's like our outdoor activity is camping. So she is the main encouragement to go camping. It's something I always liked. I love gear and trucks and modifications and survival and being a man, so I like going out and building fire and throwing knives or whatever. So I really enjoy it. She really enjoys it. And I think, I don't know, I started documenting it just kind of as a test to see if people would like that kind of video, and they seemed to. So I was like, this is a pretty fun video to make. It's a pretty fun activity to do. It kind of lets me remember, like, relive the trip for myself. It's like watching old home movies.
It is. It's cool to
except
capture it like that.
I've made maybe a little better production quality.
It's your personal highlight reel into like the epicness that you were potentially living, right?
Something like that, yeah. And it's not too crazy. And I there's a few things I really try to drill home with people so that they don't forget. It's like, I have a crazy tricked out truck, and I'm using sometimes the coolest gear available, but it's not about that at all. It's just getting out, having fun.
The experience overall.
Yeah. So even though I am kind of primarily a gear reviewer, tester person, I do want people to know that I actually made a video called like Overland for $150. And I just went to Walmart with a $150 budget, bought everything you needed to go, and then did it. So even though I use expensive, cool gear, I try to make it not about gear. But yeah, I guess long answer to to the question, but yeah, I try to do it to encourage other people to enjoy.
I think I get that impression when I was just thinking about what I see from you content-wise, and it is inspiring because it's really cool photography, like really beautiful, aesthetically pleasing photography that's really outdoors, really amazing scenery.
Thanks.
And then good educational content, even the pictures without no content is really inspirational because it's not like a picture of you in yoga pants. Not that you wear yoga pants, but it's like some influencers in the space that I love. I mean, there's a lot of good people.
Yeah.
But it's just constant down your throat, like marketing or selfies, and it's more about them, I think, than it is about other people. And I get the impression that your channel and your content is more about kind of advocating for the genre and then inspiring people to get outside. It's more about others.
And I think that's been since I started my YouTube, it's been giving advice and tips to people. I started my channel actually as concealed carry tips. Mm-hmm. That was like, I got questions on Instagram all the time, appendix carry, clothing, this and that. And I didn't intend to make a YouTube channel or continue to make YouTube videos, but I was like, I can't answer them on Instagram. It was like before when Instagram was like 15-second clips. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm just going to do longer format YouTube videos just to answer these questions.
Smart.
So even from the very beginning of my channel, it was to give people tips and advice. And it's just spread to more preparedness and outdoors and gear and all that stuff. So yeah, ultimately I do it for other people. I mean, through it, I meet cool people like you. Like we might not have been friends if I didn't have YouTube and Instagram and kind of connected to social media. So I like having relationships with companies and testing gear and doing all that. But it's all about relationships.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're doing a good job of that. I think we're talking about it today, about people in this genre, which is, call it survival, call it the blend. I kind of call it modern survival since the beginning, mm-hmm. because it's just different and it's more modernized. But there's a whole bunch of different genres that fit into our demographic. But when I actually literally think about people in our space, nobody comes to mind, which is, I look for people in that same space. Mm-hmm. You get the bushcraft guys, which are very selective. They're very narrow.
Yeah.
You got the off-roaders who aggressively off-road, bouldering, etc. But you don't really have this blend hybrid.
Yeah.
Have you seen that at all?
Not much, honestly. I mean, there's some gun guys with trucks. There's some gun guys with knives. There's some gun guys that are preppers, but I don't see a balanced blend as much. Nothing against any of those guys. Like, I kind of understand it. And it's a challenge for me, and probably a similar challenge for you sometimes, is finding the balance for blending the content. Because especially in the YouTube world, and I think in the Instagram world as well, people subscribe to a channel or a person either because they like that person, which is, I think, kind of the realm that I'm getting into. Just, I'm a person now and you can watch my videos. But a lot of times they subscribe to a channel because it's a certain topic that they are interested in. So if there's a gun guy that has no interest in trucks, they're going to be very vocal on my channel. I want to see gun stuff. I don't care about truck stuff. So finding that balance, I guess, is kind of tough. And I've recently just given up on it. I'm like, I'm a dude.
Doing your
thing. I like guns. I like preparedness. I like the outdoors. You'll get a video once a week on whatever it is I do that week. So it was kind of hard for me for a while. I had conversations with my parents and my friends and kind of people that have supported me. It's not like I do anything hard, but people that have supported me from the beginning, kind of trying to balance last line of defense with trucks.
Yeah.
Kind of. And I mean, I see the connection. I understand the preparedness connection, but maybe it's a little abstract.
Yeah, but you're kind of redefining. We talked about this too. When you pioneer something, Because here's what I noticed, and I know it's a fact for you as well, that you kind of create, I hate to say this because you can't say this really without insulting somebody or making it seem bad, but it's like this emulation of like this avatar of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Because people who are growing up, who, like when me and you were growing up, we had our idols, our mentors, our people who we aspired to be. But I feel like newer generations, like who are you going to be? Post Malone? Who are you going to be? Beyonce? Like what are your options in popular culture that kind of align you with your values? And so I see people becoming mini me's, which I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I actually mean that in a term of endearment.
I'm trying to be a mini.
Well, we are living parallel lives. You're like, if I didn't go in the military, I would be you.
Maybe,
if you went in the military, you'd be me. It's kind of like,
I would hope.
Well, your perspective is coming from, I talk about, this is a small digression, but I talk about how being a civilian is the most dangerous thing on the planet because you are in an unpredictable, semi-permissive environment that can become a worst-case scenario in an instance. Mm-hmm. The military, even in an insurgency, which is less predictable, allows you to forecast that it's unpredictable and allow your support mechanisms to support you even more with anticipating that. Mm-hmm. Well, as a civilian, if you ignore the, for lack of a better term, the insurgency that you face in life and civilian life, you're just going to get hit in the face with a brick, or you're going to smash your car and have you're going to have a traumatic bleed and bleed out of your lap. Like all these things are very dangerous in civilian life, and it's harder to navigate. So you are formulating content, ideas, thoughts, creativity to address those issues, which are so many. I'm just using a narrow perspective from the military side to apply from that experience to that. You have to come from like a creative component from sometimes scratch to go, hey, I live this lifestyle, so now I'm just going to apply it. That's so much more difficult than me going, well, I did this in Yemen, so now I'll just do it in the U.S. And sometimes it translates, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, interesting perspective. I mean, I probably think military service is still more dangerous than being a civilian, but not always. Military service in some aspects is a lot easier. You have orders, you have commanding officers, and you have people telling you what to do, whereas in civilian life, you're kind of navigating it by yourself. Not to say civilian life is so hard or anything like that, but there are some differences for sure that make some aspects of civilian life harder, some aspects of military service obviously much harder as well. But yeah, interesting perspective actually. I haven't thought about it too much that way.
I think what's cool about what you're doing is pioneering a space or a genre that's really kind of vaguely defined right now, but which over time will become something very narrowly understood. Like people will go, I know exactly what that is. That's that thing. Sometimes I try to get creative and think of what is the terminology that could be associated with this now. Is it prepped? Is it the prepared? Like what is it going to be? Because 5 years is going to look very different. What do you think 5 years, this space, this lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we live it. With the trucks, with the off-road preparation, in recovery, with the med gear, with the survival, with the guns. What's it going to look like in 5 years?
I don't know. I guess it depends a lot on future politics and what happens there. I think preparedness is always going to be a thing. It's hard to forecast because people have been thinking the world's going to end since the beginning of time. Yeah. So who knows if anything's going to happen, but I have a lot of good sources, and I'm sure you do too, that say we're living in some crazy times in America and the whole world, really. So I think, 10 years ago, people were speculating, like prepping was more Armageddon stuff. And now people are prepping for like, a financial collapse actually is pretty plausible. Yeah. So I don't know. What's it going to look like in 5 years? I don't know. But I think I would call myself and you too kind of a realistic prepper. Like, not going crazy.
Is that the word? Is that the coin thing? Are we naming it that? I'll go with it. If you just say it is, let's just go with one thing.
I don't know. It's not that sexy. Yeah. I'll have to think about it for a while. But it's interesting to think about what's going to be like in 5 years, or what people are going to be in the space. Because I mean, there have been preppers forever.
Well, talking about the future, can we talk about what we talked about today about the potential? Is that allowed? Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I've always been thinking about how to grow grow this other stuff.
Yeah.
I have a holster business that I want to do more manufacturing in, and I have this YouTube channel, and part of the YouTube channel is creating content, even though I don't really like that word, that set of words, I guess, creating content or content. I don't like it. It's just taking pictures and making videos is how I think
living
of it.
your life
But
doing that. Yeah.
It's making content. So I've, throughout the whole process, through my 4 or 5 years or whatever of making YouTube videos, I've worked a job in web development with my brother, who I like the job. I love my brother, and I'm hugely grateful to him.
He hasn't made you partner?
He's kind of offered it a couple times. Yeah. But I'm just an employee. He owns the company, and he's kind of offered partnership here and there. But both of us really want to do like the things that I've kind of paved a path forward potentially for both of us in an area that we both enjoy more. My brother is he's avid outdoorsman, hunter. He has a truck and a Jeep Wrangler. He's much like me, but he didn't pursue the YouTube kind of holster business route. He started a web development company, which is great. And I like working with him, and I work with my friends, and it's not a super stressful job, and I enjoy it, and it challenges my brain. But I kind of want to expand this other passion, I guess, of mine, and it's hard to do that with a full-time job. So we were talking about it a little bit because Mike's carved that path after a career in the military and doing some other stuff. Now you've started Fieldcraft Survival, and we were talking business, really. We were talking the ins and outs of how to grow this and how to manufacture that, and supply chains and working with other companies and distributor network, like all this kind of stuff that I have an interest in with my own small company that I do some of that with. But I don't have the time or the energy. We were talking about, only so many hours in the day. I don't have the time or energy to invest as much of my energy or time into that while I'm having this other full-time job. So I've been kicking around the idea of either like going to part-time web development and like part-time growing this other thing. So I don't know. My brother knows about it. I've talked to him, so it's not like a secret, like cat's out of the bag or anything. We're just trying to figure out the best transition, I guess.
So if people were listening to this or watching this and they were like interested what the next phase for you looks like, because I think about when you have social capital like you have, where people are invested in learning more because they're shaping potentially their behavior based off of you leading the way in preparedness, off-road, survival, whatever it may be. What does like day one look like as far as setting ahead a path? Because you started out, like you said, holsters and carry, last line of defense, and now you're going to continue to migrate. I'm assuming stay in your niche that you're in now. But what does that look like as a mission statement for your business?
Yeah, I don't know, because like you were kind of talking about, it's kind of intermingled, my YouTube and my holster company and my manufacturing business. And I want to get into more manufacturing. Being a gear tester, being like having relationships with every company in the industries that I'm interested in, and getting sent product and test this and beta test that and feedback for this. I'm in a unique space where I'm probably testing and hands-on and trying out real-world use of gear than most people out there. So I think I'm in a pretty good place to start developing gear. Like you developed some gear as well. So I kind of want to get a little more into manufacturing and building out. So it's where my holster company started. I saw all the holsters sucked, and I was like, I could probably make a holster. Can't be that hard. And I made a holster for myself, and then people wanted to buy it, and I started a holster company. So I see much like that, where I find areas that could be improved and improving them. So I think ideally I'm going to get a little more into the manufacturing side of things. It's fun. CAD and CNC and designing product and all that stuff is fun for me. So it's something I enjoy and something I'd like to do more of. But also YouTube. Like I said, I've been doing the bare minimum of YouTube. I've been doing less than the bare minimum of YouTube the first 2 or 3 years I was doing YouTube. And the last 2 years I've been doing it, I've been really almost religiously trying to do at least one video a week. And I failed quite a few times, but I've been shooting for that. But that's still, like, in the YouTube world, it's kind of the bare minimum. And my production quality on videos could be better. I could get more B-roll. I could do more of this. I could do more of that, and I don't. So I think the future of me, your last line of defense, is just hopefully more cool products and higher production quality, more videos in this space, and kind of trying to manage those things.
Yeah.
Don't have much more than that.
Well, that's good. I mean, what's crazy is you already do it, and you do it part-time. So imagine for the end users what they're going to experience when you put and commit all your time.
Yeah, hopefully better.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, it's going to be better,
Yeah.
hopefully.
And it'll open up more opportunities for me. So right now, just like everyone else, I'm limited by a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job. I have a certain number of PTO days. There's so many of, even if I just went to like conventions, the major conventions for the multiple industries I'm in, I would need like 100 PTO days a year just to do those.
Yep.
Outside of like, I want to take a week and go to Moab, or I want to go to Telluride for 4 days or whatever. So I'm never able to do all the things I want to do. I'm either turning down trips with people, turning down events. I get invited out to a lot of like invitation only training with this person and this event or that release. A lot of stuff I'd love to go to and can't, just because I don't have the time for it. So I think it'll open up a lot of opportunities. It'll increase my personal life joy, I think, for being able to have more experiences. So
yeah, I think what's cool about you, like you said, with equipment, and I experienced this in the military with T&E and R&D and equipment for companies, is you're doing all this work, and I mean it's valuable work that's needed for the textile, but because you are the end user, you have all the institutional knowledge that these places want. Because what you typically don't see in, let's say, nylon, for example, is the guys who make nylon, even the engineers who do the CAD designs and cut it, they don't really live the lifestyle for the end user that's going to use the equipment. It's rare for some reason, but because you live it and you're able to act as a consultant for companies, now, like to the flash to bang, that time delay, you can go, I want to create this. I'm going to, from a concept to the execution of manufacturing, or even to the direct sell to consumers, you could do the whole thing. And so that's part of the passion, and one of the visions that I originally had was, if I can go into an office with an idea and create that idea into an executable product, then I've accomplished something significant, because we're operating at the speed of ideas as opposed to the speed of industry, which industry as a whole is super slow. And I think that's what it's really needed, is for guys like you who do live the lifestyle to be able to implement those products to the end users. And I think people get that. Yeah.
Which is why you're doing well with Fieldcraft Survival and,
okay, I guess.
and kind of the products you're making and the stuff you do. The main differentiator, I guess, being that you do the training aspect.
Yeah.
And I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're doing is great. Yeah, if I could model my life and 5 years out be Fieldcraft Survival, that'd be awesome. It's kind of a similar goal. I wouldn't say an end goal, but like a mid goal.
It's right there. And I've been asked, like, people are like, why are you promoting Mike's stuff? Isn't your competitor? And we had a little conversation about this, but I don't believe that, especially in a space like we're in, that you should look at anybody as a competitor. Instead, you should look at them as a partner, because there's so much room to operate. There's so much real estate to take advantage of, and to do it alone, desolate, just like in survival, operating without a network, you're not going to survive very long. And I've seen it. I've seen, dude, since the beginning. I mean, this is my 4th year. Since the beginning, I've seen 50 businesses in that try to do the same thing or similar, or even the tactical businesses come up and then fall apart. And I don't know what that is, whether it's bad decision making or just the lack of commitment or maybe a combination of a whole bunch of different things. But I think being in the same genre with different goals and objectives is a benefit.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, making enemies is. I don't believe in making enemies, and I don't believe that people are necessarily competitors. Even when my holster company it's primarily a holster company. I'm friends with several other holster company owners, and I'm not unique in that regard. There's a lot of holster company owners that are friends with others, and they're sharing ideas and bouncing ideas back and forth and sharing manufacturing tips and stuff. And I think that's healthy. I think that's good because whenever I talk to people that are in competing businesses in the same market, a good company will say something along the lines of, "There's plenty of pie to share pieces." I don't know. There's some kind of expression that I'm too dumb to know off the top of my head, but plenty of pieces of pie to go around. Basically, that's the idea of it, and I agree with that. Yeah, you're kind of a competitor in me, but you're more of a friend at this point, but like a colleague and somebody to bounce ideas off of and somebody to collaborate with,
mutually
stuff
support.
like this.
I think that's the most important. I like the genre because it's so in depth and comprehensive that consumer options are pretty important for people. Like whether it's a black multicam mobility hat from Fieldcraft or a last line of defense multicam hat, like having options, I like that. I want two hats sitting on, the dashboard of my truck, depending on how I'm feeling. Versus, I want two different holster options, two different bag options. Like, I'm a gear geek too.
And like what you're saying with like Netflix, you run out of content.
Absolutely.
So you want to get on Instagram or you want to get on YouTube and you want to follow some people in similar fields. If I'm the only one doing that kind of stuff, you're going to run out of content quick.
Yeah.
So it's good to have other people in the field. And I also think it expands, especially if we're friends. I'm sure I've introduced a ton of people to Fieldcraft Survival that had no idea, and vice versa. You've introduced people to Last Line of Defense that had no idea. So I get that sometimes, like, why are you promoting your whatever? Like I have a buddy, QVO Tactical. I have a coupon code with his site. If I don't make a product or something that he makes I think is better, I'll say, hey, go check out my buddy's company, and I got a coupon code over there too if you want to. So, I just think partnerships and friendships are healthy in that regard.
That's the coolest thing I think about our genre is there's not a lot of people in it, especially companies in it, but there's a more, like I've always talked about the fringe. Like I don't like the left and right fringe of anything. I mean, it could be whatever, your local militia. I like moderation. I like balance. And so you have a level-minded individual or person that's open-minded to tactics, to different ways of doing things, and then we could be conduits to kind of deliver the best products, the best training, etc., to the end user. Because like you said, Fieldcraft is not a resource, just like Last Line of Defense is not a resource for the end-all be-all, because this genre is so comprehensive. But I'm going to look at the best companies that offer the best equipment and then make a recommendation based on the experience, which is super cool. You're doing YouTube content, and you've been doing more of overlanding and less guns.
A little bit, yeah.
Yep. And so are you going to concentrate in the future more on the mobility and overlanding stuff versus the guns, or is the guns going to make a resurgence, or what do you think?
I don't think the guns are necessarily going to make a resurgence, and I don't know that I'm producing less gun content in general. I'm just producing more content overall, so therefore I'm filling in the spaces between. Previously I'd do a video every 2 months, and one of those would be a gun video. That means 50% of my content was gun video by default. Now I'm doing more videos, which just filling in more stuff. And honestly, it's kind of funny. I've talked to you a little bit about this and a lot of other like hardcore on social media gun guys. And, you know, I'll get together with them and hang out. And I'm like, you want to go shooting? And they're like,
Really?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, why? Would
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, oh, you want to see this gun? I'm like, oh, it's cool
Yeah.
gun. But I don't really care.
It's a
And these
gun.
are like, you know, as far as social media is concerned, these are the people that are gun nuts
Yeah.
or whatever. And the reality is, it's not healthy to be consumed by a single thing. And guns, to me, I really love the training aspect of guns. I always have. I like gear, which is funny. Like, I like nice guns, but as far as my interest level, I can see a nice gun and hold it, and that's cool. I saw it and put it away. I mean, I carry a gun every day, so that's a gun I see and interact with every day. But as far as like my interest in guns, it's more training related than it is like, here's this new gun that does the same thing that every other gun before it has done.
Yeah.
You just get a Glock.
Here's another
You're
gun. Let me
good.
talk about this gun for an
You're
hour.
good to go.
Yeah.
So early on, it was like I had an Instagram page and I took pictures of guns because it was kind of what I was into for a week. And then I felt like I needed to take more pictures of guns, and I needed to get guns out of the safe and put them on the ground and take a picture. And then I needed to get a gun Cerakoted in a different color. And then I needed to get this new slide mill that some slide milling company did, and I got to get that because I got to post a new picture of the gun, and that is just exhausting and it's boring to me. So it's not that I'm any less into guns, it's not that I'm any less into training, it's not that I'm any less into self-defense. It's just the content that I enjoy creating isn't primarily gun content. Filming gun videos is a pain in the butt. They got to get a friend that's got to track me around. They got to stay, you know, behind the muzzle, or people will go crazy, or I got to set up a tripod, and that means my training regimen is dictated to me being in frame of the camera on the tripod. And then I realized that I don't get any actual training done because I'm worried about filming that perfect content, or, oh, that wasn't in frame. Now I got to reload a mag and do that sequence again. And the training aspect of guns was just kind of a lot of work. It was a lot of work. I can naturally like vlog an overlanding trip, and it's easy and it's fun, and I don't have to go too crazy with it. But training gun videos are tough, and also my training gun videos are kind of boring. I did some cool stuff like with Travis Haley, this D7 virtual reality thing, and you know, like had some personal time with Travis and all this stuff, and it's like one of my least performant videos ever. I went to Direct Action Resource Center, which is typically not a place that civilians can go. Shoot house, simunitions, night vision training, survival, everything. Did that video, like some of the funnest training I've done. Nobody watched that video, so.
What do you think is it because your demographic is the weekend overlander?
No, I think it's that this is going to offend a lot of people.
People burned out.
This is
by
going to
guns?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
Guns are huge.
Yeah.
If I just did guns, my channel would probably be twice as big. Guns there's a way bigger market in the gun world than there is in the overlanding world's relatively
small. So.
Yeah, and the gun world's huge. So it's not that it's not performant. It's just that my interest in guns was different. Like, if you take all of the gun owners in the world, and that's 100%. The percentage that's interested in training is like 3%. The other 97% just wants to see cool guns, which is not what I was interested in. So I had an interest in creating training videos that nobody else was interested in watching. So then I could just make gun videos like, this is the new AR-15 by such and such company. And those are the videos that people want to watch, but they're not videos that I'm really interested in making. So
was there an offensive part of this? Because I didn't hear anything offensive.
Oh, no. Well, I was
We'll
going
get
to,
back to that.
3% training part, I was going to be more offensive with the 97% of people.
Yeah.
Just fuds that don't actually shoot their guns. They want to collect them.
But they'll troll you in a heartbeat.
They will troll. Yeah, I mean, they got more time to be on the keyboard. So it was and it's tough to articulate my transition. And it's not that I've transitioned away from guns. I get hate emails like, "Oh, are you anti-gun now?" and blah 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 blah. I
got that recently. It's fun.
I'm like, bro, I run a holster company. My business is guns. It's
you're
just
anti-gun.
Yeah.
And they'll jump on that bandwagon, man. Tim Kennedy got it. he said he did say something that I don't agree with, but I don't think he agreed with it either. He just might have missaid it and has since thus tried to recover.
Oh, yeah.
And they just keep going after him aggressively. And but and I get it. He's Green Beret. Doesn't mean he doesn't have to be anti-gun if he's an SF guy. But it's like, man, he's come out and adamantly said, okay, this is my stance. And they're just cutthroat about it. I got one yesterday from a guy who said that because I want the Ruger Mini 14 to be an option for Californians or people who are considering getting an alternative to if AR-15s become illegal to purchase, that you could still modify a Ruger Mini 14 and make it M4. It's just a slight modification. It's a M14 cycle of operation, which is a rolling receiver, a rolling bolt, and you could Picatinny rail the hell out of it in the same caliber. And people were like, "You're selling out, man. You're anti-gun." And I'm like, "That's interesting, man, because I do everything with guns, but okay, I guess I am." How do you deal with? You were talking about YouTube haters, like the people who just troll the accounts. Do you have a tactic to deal with that? I mean, are you delete, block? Are you engaging them?
No, I spend about an hour a night and just kind of get a good cry in. No, I don't. People can disagree all they want. Like I don't really have a problem with like personal attacks or whatever, but I have a really hard problem, and this was before YouTube. It's been my whole life with either false accusation or dissemination of false information. There's things that are fact. Like I made a video like why I carry a Glock 19 or something. And obviously that's going to be controversial because everybody loves their XDs or everybody loves their SIGs or that's a plastic piece of crap or blah, 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 blah. So when I make a video like Glocks are the gold standard by which every other gun is judged, somebody in the know would never argue that statement. It's like, obviously, a new gun comes out, it gets compared to a Glock every time. I said that in a video, and I got at least a dozen comments. Nobody compares to a Glock. Those are old technology. Those are pieces of crap. Or nobody compares them to a Glock. I would never carry something that's plastic, Tupperware. Or everyone compares everything to a 1911. What are you? And I'm just like,
what,
bro?
Get out of your basement.
What are you talking about? So when it's like comments that are just like factually wrong, and I worry that other people will read those comments and think that that person is right, those are the comments that I have a hard time with.
That's a good point.
Because I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with you on the internet because it's pointless.
Yeah.
I made a video very clearly articulating why you're wrong, but you still come to argue facts, which is tough. So I have a hard time with that. For people that are just hating to hate, I think about it in this way. I feel bad for them because I'm like, would you ever, I can't think of a personal friend or a single successful person that would sit at a computer watching a stranger and feel the need to waste their time watching something they clearly don't like, continuing to watch it, usually watching multiple videos, probably subscribing and then getting on that notification squad so they can comment right away. I can never think of a successful, happy person following along with another person that they hate, wasting their time to think up some kind of mean thing to hopefully be able to hurt this clearly, probably successful person by typing out a comment to him. So when I go through that thought process, I'm like, this poor individual.
Sad.
And I feel bad for them. Sometimes what they say is just like so mean that I don't feel bad for them because I'm just like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
But I still ultimately, I feel bad for him. Could you imagine your life?
I would never do that to someone.
Could you imagine how bad, and I hope this doesn't make anybody like
there's that one guy
suicidal
like,
or something.
Duh!
But like, can you imagine how bad your life must be to waste that kind of time and energy and effort typing something out on a keyboard to a person that you'll never meet?
That's rude and...
Yeah. And I mean, I try not to say anything if I don't like something. I see plenty of stuff on the internet, and you know what I do? scroll right past it.
Yeah.
Click next.
But take the time to do it. Is deliberately taking the time to do it. It's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to subscribe to somebody that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to watch multiple videos of somebody that I hate. I'm just going to say, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Move on with my life to somebody. And if somebody doesn't like me, totally cool. There's
Mm-hmm.
plenty of people in the world that I don't like either. But you don't really need to waste your... I mean, you probably got better stuff to do than waste your time.
That guy who commented to me did it on his story. And then I just went... Because I don't engage, obviously, with those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went to block him and unfollow him.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized he followed all of our accounts. And I'm like, dude, if you don't like us, you don't have to follow us. And don't track us. Because now I'm thinking like it's like I'm perpetuating a really bad situation and making it worse because now I'm feeding him what he wants.
Yeah,
And
they say, like, I don't think anybody understands a troll. They say they do it because they feed off of the attention that they get.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is that possibly true?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there that many people with, like, serious mental problems, like, serious mental problems that, like, get a rise off of pissing somebody off on the internet?
Well, they're those guys. I'm assuming they're the same guys who, like, do stuff in bars, do stuff in public, just say obnoxious stuff in your family, like ruin Thanksgiving dinner.
But you see, the thing is, like, with that, I almost understand that because there's some adrenaline.
Yeah, some
there's some
emotionally charged.
risk of getting socked in the face.
Yeah.
There's some, you can see somebody visibly getting upset if that's what you get a rise out of. But through the internet,
it's that sentence when you hit enter and you smash it so hard.
I kind of wonder, I really wish, like, in the future, I hope one day, like, they will be like a live video feed of every comment. So I can see what that person was looking like when they were, so when somebody, like, leaves, like, a really hateful comment, I want to know if they're like, oh,
I would enjoy that.
That's going to get him.
Yeah, I'm going to get him so good.
That's going to get him.
The scary ones is like the dude in the basement who's like, ugh,
yeah.
this guy's I'm going to get this guy.
I get freaked out a little bit because I'll usually, and I shouldn't, I'll entertain trolls sometimes. Or just like,
it's fun.
Sometimes, you know, type out a logical response as to why they're wrong about this or that. Or a lot of times lately, I just LOL them.
Yeah.
They'll like set like a paragraph like visible, like very steamy, and I'll just LOL.
They hate that.
Yeah, and I hope they do. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope none of these people are like legit psychotic.
I think there's got to be those guys in that category that a large percentage of them are those guys.
Yeah.
They have to be, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Let's go into questions.
Yeah, let's do some questions.
I got a ton of questions and asked about you on my story because I said, hey, I'm interviewing Last Line of Defense. If you guys got questions, please ask. And people blew my stuff up. 4,000 people saw that, and a crap ton of people asked the questions.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's start off with just one by one. In your combined experiences, is the Keltec RDB a solid platform?
I don't actually have any experience with them, but a quick answer, I think Keltec makes really cool, innovative products. They just historically haven't had great QC.
I agree. I'm just going to go with I agree on that.
Yeah.
Is Mike Pfeiffer a distant relative of Mikey G? You could be long lost cousins. Have you ever done 23andMe?
No.
You should do that.
Should I? I did something similar for my dog, but have never done it for myself. He's a rescue, and I wanted to know what breed he was. Hope he's not half Korean.
So I did it. Originally it was like 30-something% Korean and the rest Japanese. But the more people who get introduced to the pool, the more it refines your DNA.
Okay.
And now it's like 53% Korean. I'm like, I can't be 53% Korean. My mom is Korean. My dad's a like Norwegian dude.
There must be some Korean on that Norwegian side way back somewhere.
It could be. Everything about doing a long overland trip like the Mobility Challenge. Ever think about doing a long overland? Dude. Okay, where are you at on that? What do you think about doing challenges for part of your content?
I'd love to. I'd love to do that stuff. I'm interested in that stuff. And I do kind of some light stuff. I've done some like get home bag testing and some survival tests, just personally, just of my own accord. Some of that stuff becomes burdensome trying to film it and document it. But longer trips, I remember a while back, actually, before we knew each other well, I think Travis Hess maybe was talking about you guys thinking about doing some kind of Alaska trip. And I was like, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that, but I can't because I got a job. But if my time frees up, I'm definitely interested in doing some longer term, some tests and some challenges and stuff.
We should collab on some stuff too. Like I thought about I just did a post on it today, like the one piece of equipment that you would do, or that you would carry in the woods. And I pick a hatchet because it's steel, you can crush, you could pry, you could cut, and actually filming like a 72-hour excursion in the wood line. What's it called? AMR? Like AMR style.
Ooh, like crunches.
You're just whispering. Crunching pine needles.
That's what people love that stuff. The bushcraft stuff like rarely has music to it. It's just the sounds of nature. And
it's
people
fun.
Love it.
I love it.
I watch them myself.
I do too.
I was like, man, I just watched an hour of this dude just kind of like walking through the woods and making a fire. I love it, man. I get why people like it, but I like it too. People ask me, they're like, you need to cut this music out of your videos, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, if I cut the music out of the videos, it would be me and Ash talking about random stuff, listening to music on the radio, farting. I don't know. Like it's not like a solo guy out in the wilderness. It's not the same, like a camping trip.
Yeah.
Either I would have to greatly alter my camping trip to be soundless and nothing else, the copyrights but I'm like, I'm out here having fun.
Yeah.
So usually most of the clips I have something I shouldn't put in a video.
Yeah. You gotta do background music.
Yeah.
What's the best way to sharpen a hatchet or axe? I notice at your house you do chopping of the wood. What is the techniques that you use to sharpen your axe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of YouTube videos about it, but I don't mess up. I have some like junk axes. I have like a set of junk axes that I just put on a grinding wheel or like my belt sander that I use for holsters and just get a dirty edge on it. Just like those are my tools that I don't even want to waste because I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I don't have time. People can spend hours sharpening a single hatchet to shave with. I don't care about that. So for my lighter duty axes that I'm really trying not to chip and stuff, I'll just use usually a Lansky's puck, and then I have like a Japanese whetstone.
That's what I have too.
I'll do some of that stuff, but yeah, I don't nerd out too much on sharpening, honestly. Like none of my stuff is shaving sharp.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of patience or time.
Stuff is pretty grimy. Like my hatchet in the truck, same way. It's super grimy. I like it that way.
Yeah.
Daily carry. We haven't really covered that. What is your daily carry in full? Like the gun, the mods, if you have them, the mag capacity, the base plate, the holster, etc. What do you got?
Yeah, it's getting chilly out. I typically carry a Glock 19. It's RMR'd, has some front slide serrations with a backup 17-round mag. So that's my gun. And I carry a multi-tool, Leatherman Skeletal.
Yep.
I carry a flashlight. And I kind of bounce around between carrying a weapon light on my gun and carrying like a tactical flashlight in my pocket. There's obviously pros and cons to both. People could argue one way or the other till they're blue in the face. And while I personally kind of am in agreement of having a handheld separate from the pistol, I do have a pistol weapon light. They're so small these days and light that you can put one on the gun without having to worry about it.
Why not have both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which does free me up for a flashlight that I can just use for flashlight stuff.
I like that.
That's pretty much it.
What was the light that you carry? The handheld?
Oh, I carry typically an Olight S2R baton. And really, it's right here. I carry it for one main reason, and that's this magnet. So since I do a lot of vehicular stuff, work on my truck, camping, whatever, so much metal on a truck, this is just my light, everything. Utility light, stick it on my hood, stick it in my truck bed, stick it here, stick it there. So just having a magnet on the end is a game changer for the flashlight world.
That's smart.
for me.
And what was the make again?
It's Olight.
Olight.
S2 Arbiton 2.
S2 Arbiton.
Long name.
What is Mike's favorite vehicle he owns or would like to own?
What's yours?
What? Oh, this is your mic. Your mic.
Maybe.
Well, mine's an FJ40.
That's your favorite?
Well, currently right now it is. I mean, all my rigs have specific kind of uses.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I've had the longest that I will never sell, that I'll give to my son, is the '99 Sahara Jeep Wrangler.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I started off-roading in North Carolina, and then my FJ40 is my favorite rig currently. The one that I want is a Porsche Rally Safari, like off-road vehicle, because they're really good for the oversteer on them transitions the power through curves. And I went to one of the funnest training I ever did in the military was rally race car school, and I went to the course to learn, and then I went to the instructor course to teach people how to rally race, because that was my.
What vehicles did you use there?
We used Subaru WRXs, Ford Focuses, and then we went through a series of courses that used Audi A4s, front-wheel drive, crappy cars. I can't remember the name of the car. And then rear-wheel drive BMWs. Okay. So you could know the transition of power. Mm-hmm. But those Porsches are perfect for it, man. With a rack, with a spare tire carrier. With
I see people putting rooftop tents on them and stuff now.
But dude,
they're cool.
What about you? What's your favorite current vehicle? Because I know you got a couple. And then what's the vehicle that you want? And let's talk about your LC a little bit.
Yeah, so my 80 series Land Cruiser is one that I've wanted for a while. It's kind of modern enough to not feel antiquated, but still kind of has the classy vibe. Like, it's a car that I just feel classier in for some reason or another. I mean, it's a luxury SUV technically, but there's something about it where I'm just like, I could see myself growing old in that thing. And that's kind of why I bought it. Obviously, they're legendary, great capability, solid axles, bomb-proof. So I like the 80 a lot. Having said that, when I drive the 80 and then I go back to driving my Tacoma, I'm like, this Tacoma's so much nicer. So
it's
much nicer.
It drives, there's no noise.
Yeah, it's like plenty fast, and there's stuff I could do to the 80 to make it faster, but I'm just like, the modern conveniences, the power, and the Tacoma's not even powerful.
Yeah.
But like compared to my Land Cruiser, it feels
slow, man.
Quite peppy.
What's the one that you want? What's the one, like if you could have one overland rig right now, what would it be?
If I could have any rig and money was no object, and unfortunately this is kind of cliche, but probably a Defender 110.
Me too.
I like them.
I love them.
I don't really want one because I hear they're just horrible.
Yeah, the newer ones, the TD5s and above, are just better, more reliable. But just, oh man, they're so nostalgic, man.
Yeah. So there's something I love, like my Tacoma, I can take, and if I'm not doing crazy jumps or doing anything crazy, I am quite certain that I will make it home without having to fix anything.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about some of these older vehicles. Like, yeah, some people are like, oh, I've turned every nut and bolt on this thing. It's reliable as heck. It's a 30-year-old vehicle, dude.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing reliable.
Nothing at all, man.
But yeah, so there's pros and cons. But yeah, probably like Defender 110.
Your FJ80 is in the shop right now getting paint, right?
It's getting painted. Yep.
What color are you going for paint?
I'm going for a brown.
Like doo-doo brown, or are we talking about like opal brown?
Like a doo-doo brown, kind of. Yeah. I was thinking of getting my license plate customized and naming it Poopy. But I don't know. Something about Land Cruisers and brown paint. Typically, they're on the FJ60s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 60s that are that brown.
And those are awesome. That color is really
And I
cool.
like it. And I'm going just a little bit darker than that kind of factory FJ80 brown.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen FJ60 brown. I've never seen an 80 in brown. There's probably one out there, but I haven't seen it. And maybe it's a reason. Maybe it'll look crappy, but I don't know.
We'll see. Time will tell because the thing's coming out of the shop soon, huh?
Yeah, well, I just dropped it off. I think it's like up to 2 weeks.
Ooh, okay.
So it'll be a bit.
Favorite gun setup? Like out of any gun setup that you could have or that you have, what is that setup and why? Is that your favorite?
Probably just my carry gun, RMR Glock 19, just because I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's big enough to get me through the end of the world, small enough to carry every day. Though I have recently, because I just started offering holsters for the 43X and the 48. I test all my holsters that I come out with for a while. So I've been carrying a Glock 48, and I'm like, it's pretty nice.
Getting used to it?
It's pretty comfy.
Yeah.
I don't even notice it's there.
Ergonomically, it
feels
so
good
thin.
in my hand, though. Like, I don't have massive hands. I have, like, average, mechanics size large, pretty average hands. And it's, like, it's good. I like
Perfect.
it. Yeah. But, yeah, probably Glock 19.
So this guy's an entry to ham radio, a Baofeng UV5R or a UV82?
I think the 82 is the newer, more powerful one. It's more expensive, but it's better.
Yeah.
I think, and I could be wrong. I don't nerd out too much about it, but I think the 82, like they upped it to like 7 or 8 watts from the original one, which was 5 watts. But it's kind of there's different like editions or models or series or whatever. But I think the 82 is the newer, better one. Yeah.
Ask Last Line of Defense about his workout routine and being in shape. How do you both stay in shape?
Yeah, I don't work as hard as people probably think I do, honestly.
Genetics.
But some of it's genetics, some of it's consistency. Probably most of it is consistency. In college, I started working out, and I was like a meathead for about a year. So lifting a lot, eating lots of protein, lifting heavy. And I think it does, like the younger you are, that permanently modifies your body. Getting muscular permanently changes your physique. If I never lifted another day in my life, I would still look more fit, like muscular, than a dude that has never worked out.
Yeah.
So that helps. And then since then, I've had phases of on and off. But typically I work out 2 to 3 days a week. But I do compound lifts and I lift heavy. Like I walk in there and I want to lift more weight than anybody else in there. And that's kind of my goal. So lifting heavy and being consistent.
Awesome. What's your diet like?
Not good. I mean, I don't drink soda.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of...
what you wanted to eat.
I eat whatever I want to eat, and I have plenty of room to be healthier.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's another one of those genetics things where, it'll probably catch up to me for sure. But right now, like, I go to the doctor and they're like, wow.
You're good.
You must eat healthy. And I'm like,
you just crushed a donut for
yes.
How did you take an idea and turn it into a business? And how have you overcame the feeling of being overwhelmed?
Yeah, I mean, probably a question that you could answer better than me, but if they're looking for my take on it, I try to live a pretty stress-free life. I remove stressors from my life. Probably one of the reasons I'm healthy. So I don't feel overwhelmed that often.
Like, what is an example of removing stressors from your life? Like, if you have a toxic person, do you just shit can them from your life? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're stressful and you're not going to change and become a better person, then I'm not going to associate with you. But if I stress about stuff, like if I find myself obsessing over, this isn't a real example. Well, it kind of is, because I kind of like shoes and boots. But if I find myself obsessing over something, then I'll just try to kind of cut it out and be like, I don't need that. I don't need that extra stress in my life. I try to, like, my wardrobe, what I wear, and this helps because I have a girlfriend that loves me no matter what. I just grab whatever pair of pants are on top and whatever shirt is next in line off the hanger. Don't think about it. Just put it on.
That's a good behavioral tactic in life.
Yeah.
So you're not consistently trying to look at yourself and judge what you're going to look good in. You're like a smurf.
So many people waste so much time trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Hours.
And it's really successful people. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, all of these people. Like Steve Jobs owned the same jeans and the same black turtleneck or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what he wore.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, same deal. And they both say, well, we do this because anywhere that we can reduce options or choices or stressors, do it.
Like that.
And that makes your life less stressful. So things like that. But as far as starting a business, just decide what you want to do and do it. It's not.
Execute it.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of, how do you eliminate the overwhelming feeling of anxiety? Like if you're getting overwhelmed, what do you do? Do you have a reset button? Do you hit nature? Do you hit the gun? What do you do?
No good answer for that, really. I just don't get overwhelmed that often. If I feel myself trying to do too much or take on too much, then I just tone back what I'm doing. It's probably why I'll never be ultra successful. It's probably why I'll never write an entrepreneurial book.
Yeah.
Because I do things at whatever speed is just under what feels uncomfortable, which is a key to failure, probably.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am always pushing myself to be more efficient and to be productive.
Yeah.
Like if I have a day that goes by, like even like a Saturday and I haven't checked off, I do to-do lists. So if I haven't checked off something or a couple things off my to-do list, then, well, that doesn't happen because I always check things off of my to-do list.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to be productive.
Well, that efficiency too is like what allows you to be successful in survival, because it's all about optimization and hitting a red line or overwhelming yourself or even expending too many calories is a good indicator that you're not going to be successful in survival.
Yeah.
Like
And I think efficiency is underrated.
Yeah.
What is overrated, I think, is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Every entrepreneur, 20-hour days. Every entrepreneur never sleep.
No sleep, yeah.
Every entrepreneur try harder than the other person. It ain't true.
100%.
You could try hard at building a business by digging a hole in your backyard, and you'll never have a business. You'll just have a big hole in your backyard. So
true.
you need that was a weird analogy, but you just need to be efficient. So I try to work on efficiency.
I like that. What can civilians do to help serve the community if they weren't able to join the service?
There's a lot of stuff to being a patriot and just being a good person in general. I don't know if this is geared more at the social media aspect or just life, but if you see trash, pick it up. If you see someone that needs a hand, help them out. There's plenty you can do to help people out and just be a better person.
Be an asset to society.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be a drain.
Last question. Most underutilized component of overlanding, in your opinion?
Underutilized?
Yeah. What's, I guess the reframing of that is like, what piece of equipment do you use the most, but it's never really communicated to use it? Everyone wants a winch, but nobody uses a winch. Don't forget it.
Yeah, people don't use them that much. I use them to like move boulders around my property quite
That's
a bit.
it.
The underutilized?
Yeah.
Underutilized.
What do you use the most in overlanding? Like when you go out, like what one piece of equipment are you constantly using? And you're like, man, the utility in this is amazing.
An underutilized product as it pertains, I'm getting kind of cold right now and it kind of jogged my memory, is an electric blanket.
Really?
So
Is that gold?
It's gold. If you camp in the winter, and I get flack for it sometimes, you're like, you're using the electric blanket. I could sleep out there in my underwear. And I'm like, cool, bro, do it.
Do that. Yeah, I'm going to be comfortable
It
in my
doesn't
electric
affect
blanket.
me at all. But if I can go camping long, not necessarily a hard day, but I'm out on the trail, I'm doing stuff, building camp, cooking food, making fire, whatever. I just want to sleep comfortably. And I sleep way better in my bed at home. Full-size pillow and mattress and everything.
Same way.
I don't sleep good in any
either.
tent. So if anything I can do to improve my sleep while I'm out camping, I'll do. And when it's 0 degrees outside, just pop on a little heated sleeping bag. I usually use a heated throw.
Yeah.
And
Is that a cigarette lighter adapter?
they sell cigarette lighter ones,
Yeah.
or plug-in ones. I have like a little battery or an inverter that I use. And all you got to do is preheat. So while you're brushing your teeth, you turn it on, and then you hop into a warm bed.
Warm fart sack. Those are the best.
It's a game changer, honestly.
I don't know why I don't have one of those. I've frozen my ass off it in Yellowstone and Wyoming and Montana for really nothing. What?
It's modern. It's to get with the program, man.
I know.
And just because the question was geared at overlanding,
Yeah.
got to be Gucci, so I got to throw that electric blanket in there. If it
Electric
was
blanket.
off-roading or bushcrafting, I'd have a different answer.
It's so for when you're in the mall parking lot, you can be comfortable in the parking lot when it's cold outside.
For sure, yeah. I mean, when you're waiting for that Black Friday sale to hit so you can get that rooftop tent on sale, if you have a nice little heated throw over your leggies.
You hear that?
Yeah,
Coyotes.
some coyotes howling.
Oh, I wish I brought my rabbit distress call. That'd be awesome.
I mean, it's triggering all of them.
I used to be able to do that good.
They're going for it out there.
Do you want to start talking? Well, how can people find out about the stuff that you have going on if somebody listens to my podcast but doesn't watch you on YouTube?
If somebody wants to find out what I'm doing, they could just Google Last Line of Defense. You could search it in YouTube or whatever. Instagram, I'm just at Last Line of Defense, one word, and my website is LLOD.us.
Awesome. Well, Mike, it was nice coming out here. We sucked it up and stayed out here a little bit longer to capture the content. But this information, as always, is gold, especially to people who are tuned in and want to learn more about how they could be better prepared. So I appreciate you coming on again.
It was good stuff, man. I always love hanging out. Look forward to doing some trips in the future.
It'd be sick. I want you to quit your job as soon as possible so you could focus on your life objective, which is preparedness, overlanding, and adventure, and then being happy forever, you know?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get there together.
Look at that right there. That's like gold, man. That's like a good way to end it.
Yeah,
I watch this from the sun.
I moved the camera up. I saw this. I mean, look behind us. The camera doesn't even almost capture it.
Wow.
It's gorgeous.
That's so awesome.
We're talking about a sunset for those listening on the podcast here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sunset. It's magenta, oranges, and flares of red.
Really?
But yeah, we're in Colorado now, but thanks for tuning in to the podcast, guys. As always, fieldcraftsurvival.com. Big shout out to Black Rifle Coffee, Treyarch Systems, and killcliff.com for sponsoring the podcast. You guys can check them out on their websites. It's all in the cliff notes in the podcast, and then check out Last Line of Defense's information. His YouTube link is in the bottom, as well as his website. Till next time, guys, thanks. Stay alert, stay alive.
Take care.
Peace out, guys.
Yeah, look at this. Bonus footage for those watching the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has dropped like 20 degrees out here.
It's cold. Those coyotes are coming.